Hi, I just wanted to be able to show students how to use a conditional if statement. A few folks have asked me questions about that particular function. A conditional if statement will return a value in a field based on whether a condition is true or not. If the condition is true, it will return one particular value that you define. If it's false, it will give you another result instead. So what I have set up here is a list of just some data. It doesn't matter what it is. It's some positive and negative numbers, and then down here in cell B13 I have set up, and I'm using a sum function. I'm just summing cells B3 through B12. And then over in column A, cell 13, I want to have something show up that will tell me something about that sum total. And so I want to know if it's positive, good, if it's negative, bad. And so what I do is I set up this conditional if statement. And the conditional if statement structure is pretty simple. It's equal sign. Every time you type in a function formula, you need to put in the equal sign. It's followed by if, open parentheses, and then in this case we're looking at the result that is in cell B13. In this case, if it's greater than or equal to 0, we want good to show up in cell A13. Otherwise, meaning if it's negative, so if it's not greater than or equal to 0, we want bad to show up. So with this initial set of data, it totals 850, and the result shows good. If I was to come up here and change the data number in cell B7 and make it negative 500, it changes the total, the sum, to negative 150, and notice in cell A13 that the description changes to bad. So we went from good to bad. And just to show you that it works, we'll come back up here to cell B7, change the result back to 500, and the subtotal goes back to 850, and the description returns to good. So hopefully that helps folks out with using a conditional if statement. You need to remember, if you use labels, you need to put them in parentheses, in double quotations. That will tell it that it's a label. If you don't, you'll get an error message that has something to do with it's a naming error function. Okay, so remember that you need to start off your formulas with an equal sign, that for conditional if statements you need the test. So in this case it was B13 greater than or equal to 0, and then we need to know what the response is going to be if the condition is met or if the condition is not met. And in this case, since we want a label to show up, a name, we need to enclose that name in quotation marks and then close the parentheses. All right, hopefully this helps folks out. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this if you need it, and I look forward to seeing everybody in class.